can you put us into the map game out of curiosity?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm
I like
going to fast forward time a little bit here because I'm going to give us a little previously on that you were at the opera and had been invited there and given tickets to the opera. I believe one was his name. The moneylender.
I barely understood what you just said, but go on.
Yeah, you cut out quite a bit there. Yeah.
Do you want to pause everything but's collection?
No. On all times.
Parody high.
Yeah.
45 gigs.
but show, and I don't charge admission. So you'd been invited to the opera by Mert, and at the start of the opera, or at the intermission, you went to go visit Mert. You also ran into some other guy as well. Heimdal might remember who it was.
Yeah, the orc chick and that fancy prince guy.
Mm-hmm. So I've got it here somewhere.
Was he the bard? He was like an elf of some sort.
Yes, yeah, a sun elf bard named Davil Starsong, and his sort of bodyguard Yagra Stonefist. So you met them, and they sort of offered you, hey, if you ever need anything, like come reach out. We're doors always open. And I believe you kind of rebuffed their offers, or at least Davil's offers.
Davil's, yeah, and because he said he'd give us twice, basically, what this dude he didn't like was going to offer us.
Yeah, there's an intonation towards that, right? Like he could make you a lot more money.
Yeah.
Don't trust this Mert guy. And then at the intermission, they went to go see Mert, but were accosted by drow assassins that sort of came out of nowhere and were seemingly there to kill Mert. But you were able to dispatch one of them, and one got away. And then upon speaking with Mert asked you to join his organization, the Harpers, though you were very hesitant or rebuffed that as well, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Did we or did we accept it?
I
feel like we might have made the call to accept it.
No, I'm pretty sure Dan goes, this is something for you to do in the weeks that in between the two sessions to decide what to do. And clearly we're the studious people that we are have
don't tell the DM we didn't do our homework, mate. Come on.
Nart.
So, fast forward to the...
Dan, I absolutely can't hear you. Am I the only one?
No, you're breaking up a bit. Yeah. Maybe
right.
video's off.
I think videos might be chugging it, because it keeps cutting away from videos when you break up.
I'm going to turn mine off and see if that does anything. Let's give that a go for a little bit.
Interesting. All right. Hopefully that fixes everything.
It does sound better.
You're clear as crystal at the moment, yeah.
Oh, okay. Just meant to do this. Cool. You all have green. So we flash forward to you're back at Trollskull Manor. A day or two has passed, and you're hanging out in the alleyway. You've been working for the last day or two trying to get the old gal up into tip-top shape. Refurbishing, getting some furniture from the... What was the table and chairs guy? The carpenter from up the road?
Oh, mate, yeah.
It was an iron worker.
Tally Fellbranch. No, he's... Yeah, Tally Fellbranch. The artisan at the Chief Nail. I was right. I write shit down.
I'm so... You do some homework during class. You're good at taking notes during class. And so for the last couple of days, there's been sort of a flurry of activity as you've been hauling out old furniture, bringing in new stuff, and even stocking some of the shelves with books. I believe was the deal that you struck with Rachel, the page turner.
Mm-hmm.
However, as you sort of making your way through this, you notice a number of sort of heavy-set, large individuals come in one day while you're still decorating and moving furniture around and making sure the correct feng shui in this formerly haunted house. And these four individuals start sort of eyeing the place and kind of looking around, and one of them steps forward and says, "Ooh, looks like a lot of flammable stuff in here. Have you paid your firefighting rates yet?"
I step forward and say, we've paid all of our rates to and those that those expected of us to the city guard. Absolutely. Captain Staggett, we paid him a handsome sum.
Oh yes, well, the city guard, isn't it? But this is we're more of an independent organization, and we're just out here doing our neighborhood duties, making sure that if there was to be a fire, perhaps that you'd be taken care of in the event of a lot of this. Look at this wood. A lot of wood around here it can go up like that, don't you know?
Taking offense to the idea of burning wood. Harbinger doesn't like the idea of, it flashes back to his forests being burnt down in years gone by, and it ruffles him the wrong way, and he approaches him and just goes, if there's a fire, we'll deal with it ourselves, thank you very much. What kind of protection, he does little air quotes, can you provide that we can't provide ourselves?
He says, we help make sure, we help prevent fires. We're all about not having fires, and for just some easy payments, you and everything in here can be well protected. Absolutely.
I say, well, we're about lighting fires, and I motion to Heimdal.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you wanna show him, buddy?
Yeah. Where are we? We're in the alleyway, right?
I guess you're kind of inside the house. Let me change this up.
We're inside the house? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So and they're inside the house as well? Cool. I light a bonfire, a magical bonfire that doesn't catch, right? In the doorway.
Illusion. Yeah.
A magical bonfire. Illusion.
Did the map not load? Am I tripping out?
I am not seeing a map. Oh, I'm seeing something. Yes. Seeing link squares.
Sorry, this is very unprofessional. So you're lighting a bonfire. Is that in the hearth or just like on the table? What's
yeah? So I'm assuming they're kind of in the doorway.
Yeah.
They've come through. You said they were eyeing the place off.
Mhm.
I snap my fingers, and a bonfire lights, like a real bonfire, so they can feel the heat and shit. Lights
Oh, nice.
just outside the door of where they have just entered, for example.
Yeah.
So it's in the stone. It's not going to catch. I'm making sure it's not going to burn the house down.
Yeah.
But
so you sort of lit this fire just behind them, kind of like here.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
So you're not giving them the hot foot or anything. It's kind of just popping up behind them.
Yep, behind them. Totally behind them. Actually, I thought they were inside. So there's just one person in.
We'll say there's two. We'll say there's two have kind of come in and two are waiting outside.
Can you describe this lad to me? And his friends?
You probably actually I don't know if Hjarbinger or Sprig would have seen people like this before. But these gentlemen are all relatively well armored, shaved head. They look like they've been working and living rough a little bit. They've got what do they got here? Mostly just sort of like a leather duster, and you notice that they're carrying or they have in sort of a weapon loop. Just each of them have, or two of them have maces, and then the two standing outside have these sort of big, heavy crossbows.
Okay. So I'm going to walk up to the one that, I assume the person who was talking appears to be in charge out of this small group.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try and charm him using my charm person spell.
Okay.
It must make a wisdom saving throw and does so with advantage if your companions are fighting it, which they're not.
They're not fighting him.
Not yet.
No,
not yet.
Is charmed by you until the spell ends. Companions do anything harmful to it, the charm creature regards. Okay, do I get to control it?
I think it's more that it considers you a friend.
Oh, considers you a friend.
It's not like mind control.
Okay, so it's not like.
Yeah, the other thing to be aware of with charmed person is once the spell ends, the person's aware that they were charmed.
Also, his companions see you casting a spell, and then.
Oh, okay. So there's a whole arm movement. It's not something that I can do.
I believe so. If it has a semantic component, so there can be a V, S, or M.
Yes, there's a V and an S. Yeah.
Yeah. So the V is the verbal component of saying the special spell words. S is the wiggly finger part, the Doctor Strange kind of portion of it.
Okay. All right. Then never mind. Once I understand my own limitations.
Sprig steps forward, goes to cast magic, thinks better of it, and starts.
So
starts to wave his arms and then just turns it into a stretch.
Can I ask this leader who, if we were to be paying, who would we be paying? Who is your leader? What name should we give them?
He says, well, you'd be paying us, and we pass it along to the Firefighters Guild. Isn't that right, lads? And they kind of, there's a bit of snickering, like a, yeah.
Are they perturbed at all by the fire? Are they like, oh shit, magic? Or are they like...
It's a pretty big fire.
Yeah, the two guys at the back. I'm just getting a name for this. This guy's name is Godfrey. Fuck yeah. They seem a little bit concerned, but they're not like, whoa, magic! I've never seen magic before. This is Waterdeep, the City of Splendors. Like, you got to come correct. it does make them sort of put their hands on the two at the front, are sort of trying to move away from the heat of this bonfire in the early morning, and Godfrey, the one talking to you, says, "Look, mate, we don't want any trouble. You don't want any trouble. You're new to we know you're new to town. You don't quite know all the rules around here. One of the rules is you got to pay your dues to make sure people don't go starting fires and stuff. Looks like you've already got fires. This place is a tinderbox ready to go up."
And how much would you be expecting us to pay?
Well, I mean, big house like this, what do you got? 2, 3 stories? Call it 100 a week.
Oh, ongoing. Okay. Right. Cool. So here's what I'm going to suggest. Sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Name's Godfrey.
Godfrey. How about you get the fuck out of our bar before we literally, and I'm not figuratively, no, before we literally kill you.
I got a better idea, Barnaby.
Okay.
I reckon we just kill him.
Cool.
You know they're just going to come back. And next time they're going to come back with more peoples.
Yeah.
It's true.
At best, they just disappear.
Exactly.
So Hjarbinger
Maybe.
Sprig walks behind and just closes the front door and then locks it.
Okay, so
sorry.
well, I mean, one guy's kind of standing in the doorway, so
yeah. Sorry, I just got to do one thing. So I apologize. I'm running my CPU at 100% flatlining, so to do anything for me is going to be slow. Okay. They're arranged like that. I asked them politely, excuse me, click. Let me just try and open. Yeah.
So you walk up, and the one that's sort of standing in the doorway, he's standing there trying to look tough, like he's seen it all before, just giving you that kind of gruff look, whilst Godfrey does most of the talking, and as you then walk up to him, or walk up to the door, he says. He sort of puts his hand up, or tries to sort of push you back, and goes, "No, mate, just calm down. No one's going anywhere until we've worked it out. Now, if you don't want to pay, that's fine, but just know that could be a problem."
You've already made it a problem.
And he says, "Now, so you're not willing to pay. You don't look like welfare-minded individuals. You're not part of the neighbourhood. Not wanting to help the community grow. This will be remembered."
Can I cast a spell during this conversation? Like, can I enter combat, or do we need to?
I mean, if you're going to sling a aggressive spell, sure, you can. The same way that Heimdal cast a bonfire, like.
I'd like to cast Crown of Madness on this guy.
So you start readying your thing. What does that look like? What does casting Crown of Madness look like from Barnaby? What does his magic look like?
So, it's all you spoke about the VSM before. As a bard, all of his magic is verbal, or through sounds in his music. So he starts saying an incantation that sounds, it's all like a guttural kind of voice, and it comes across as otherworldly. It's not quite abyssal. but it sounds strange. It sounds from another plane, and I suppose it's that confusion, that the target feels that creates that madness, that insanity that manifests a jagged crown onto their head.
Cool. Does he have to make a saving throw, or does it just appear?
He needs to make a wisdom saving throw.
Right. I can tell you now, it's not great. So as you start, it starts off maybe as a bit of a hum. There's a bit of tune to it, or a bit of a rhythm to the incantation, true to your bardic nature. And then the Godfrey kind of looks up in fear as this sort of jagged metal crown appears above his head, and his eyes sort of roll up into the back of his head. And we're going to roll initiative.
Woohoo!
Token not currently selected.
Yeah, click on Sprig.
I did. Ah, okay. I don't know why it rolled twice.
Why are you Sprig? I thought it was Hjarbinger.
It's Hjarbinger Sprig.
Ah, right. It's his surname.
No, I think it
I'm
was just
sorry
easier
if
for me to
anyone
type. This is
I
just me
thought
being
you
lazy.
did it with your mouth.
You forget how sensitive the headphone mics are, don't you?
Just get that ASMR going. Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, sounds. Oh,
Is everyone having a great time?
I can stop.
So as you do that, Barnaby, one of the thugs moves forward to try and hit you, pulling a mace out of his. So you get the spell off and perform this act, and then this thug here kind of steps forward, pulls a mace out of his band here. Goes to just like hit you with it. 18 to hit. That's gonna be 8.
Yeah, that's going to hit. 8 damage?
8 damage, and then 13 to hit.
Won't hit.
Cool. So he's able to hit you once. He sort of comes in swinging, and is able to sort of crack you on the side with one of the hits. But you have a chance now to retaliate.
To retaliate. All right, let me just double check with Crown of Madness if it's on my turn or his turn. On each of its turns. Okay, cool. How's I'm going to retaliate. I'm going to pull out my rapier and I'm going to have a slash at him.
Now, before we go any further, Crown of Madness, is it a concentration spell?
It is a concentration spell.
You need to give me a Constitution saving throw to maintain concentration as he hits you.
Oh. Con saving throw.
Nay!
It's a hardcore 4. So, concentration spell can fail if the caster takes any amount of damage, in which case they make Constitution save with a DC equals 10 or half the damage taken.
It's half the damage taken.
Whichever is higher.
Damn it.
Yeah, the higher number out of 10 or half the damage taken. So he cracks you on the shin. You jump back, but it breaks your concentration. You're unable to maintain the Crown of Madness, and it sort of fades away above his ally there. But you still are able to hit him with the old pointy stick.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit him with the pointy stick and say double dang. 16 to hit.
16 certainly hit.
16's gonna hit him. What's the damage on this bad boy on D8 plus 8? Plus 2. D8 plus 2.
So that's
Uh,
13 piercing damage on the first one.
Hold up, no, I've rolled 2 d8s there.
Oh.
Yeah, man, I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to cheat. Cheaters never prosper. But here's the funny thing. My first roll was a 1. My second roll was an 8. So, do we split the middle, call it a 4 plus 2, and call it a 6?
Look, I love your honesty, and look, I'm going to give you inspiration for that honesty, but I'm going to take the 1. Because it was the first roll.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we may need to go into your character. You rolled from within Foundry, right?
I added in because I didn't. I fucked up. It's fine. It will be okay in the future.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, jeez. Do you get a second attack or a bonus action?
I get a bonus action, and I'm going to use my bonus action to say to, I'm going to say to Sprig, second battle. Really looking forward to seeing what you got, Big Sprig, and chuck him an inspiration dice.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, Sprig, you're up, and a lot of weight on these shoulders.
Right. Okay, you're gonna have to help me with my new character, but I don't know what I can. I have to. Do I have a list of creatures I've seen before?
You tell me what creatures you've seen before.
I suppose, but don't they need like a page or something? They need to have some kind of.
Again, I think this is the. Oh, well, you can shapeshift as a druid. You can shapeshift into any beast you've seen before, I believe, as long as it's within a certain CR level based on your wild shaping abilities. It's kind of on you to know what that list will be.
Yeah, no, it's all right. Look, I'm going to use
like a bear or like a wolf or something would certainly be appropriate, I think.
It was just a polymorph. I was just going to use polymorph, but in this case, I'll just use.
Does everyone in this group have polymorph? God damn.
This is great.
We could just become massive beasts.
We should actually have one battle where we do it. Yeah.
Or just fill the room with just these huge. Okay.
You have a feature to be able to turn into a beast with a bonus action.
Yeah.
Although not a giant ape. I think you can turn into like a bear or something. But
yeah, is it Guardian of Nature where I can turn into a primal beast? Facial. Sorry, well, look, I'm just.
How about read your skills. Do something simple for now, and then maybe read. Here we go.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I was going to turn into.
Okay, you turn into a primal beast or a great tree. Bestial fur covers your body. Your facial features become feral, and you gain
strength attack rolls. Yeah. No, I've decided against that. I'm just going to do I'm just going to do a cantrip for now, and I'll get back to that in a second. So, primal savagery, teeth and fingernails sharpen, ready to deliver a corrosive attack. Make a melee attack against one creature.
Cool.
And I'm going to do it against. I don't know what that just did.
So it rolled a dirty 20. So you're so describe to me what Sprig looks like normally, because he looks pretty human, right?
Yeah, he's humanoid, but you can see that his fingernails look like a bit of bark or earth. He has he constantly seems to have moss or something green growing across his skin. His his clothing, if you could call it clothing, is more like tattered cloth hung together with vines and basically leafy detritus that he can scrounge together. But there's also always a sweet scent around him as he walks. There's always a smell of flowers or that nice soil smell. that yeah, it just seems to follow him everywhere he goes.
Lovely.
But yeah, but when he uses primal savagery, things, sort of a darkness or a shadow looms behind him as his eyes darken and his nails grow, his teeth grow longer and seem to glisten in in conjunction with the darkening aura around him as he lashes out at old mate who's having a go at Barnaby.
Yep, excellent. So you lash out, and instead of just it's not so much the raking of the nails of the claws now that cause most of the damage. It's that they leave behind this green rake across this gentleman's back or across his arm, and you can hear the sort of sizzling and popping of acid as it sort of starts eating into his skin.
Cool.
Next up, we've got one of the thugs, and then Heimdal. So one of them steps into the room here, braces himself in the corner, seeing the sort of craziness that is Hjarbinger, and he sort of readies his crossbow and fires at you. That'll be a 9 to hit. I assume that's not going to be enough. Heimdal.
Is that Heimdal?
Oh, that was at you, James.
Oh, sorry. I thought that was at Heimdal. My apologies. No, it's not going to.
But it is Heimdal's turn now.
All right. So, I suppose Heimdal vaults up onto one of these little chairs, and then onto the bar. And while essentially having a bit of a monologue, being like, "You guys come into our house, demand we pay you a ransom for a fire which you intend to start, and expect to leave here with your lives." And I cast a level 4 fear spell on all of them because it does that. So they need to make a wisdom saving throw or become deathly afraid
of gnome.
of
That is brilliant.
dark gnome.
Yeah, they become definitely
Vaulting
afraid
up.
of their own actions, and they can get really introspective, and that's the true fear. So is it a targets thing, or is it a range, like an AoE thing? What's the
So
target?
you target any person that you can see, and then anyone within 4 feet. Within 30 feet of them.
Up to how many creatures?
4, because it's level 4 spell.
Oh,
So
cool.
it's 1 + 1 per level.
And these are wisdom saving throws?
They are wisdom saving throws.
All right, let's go to the guy at the front who's hit Barnaby. Not great. Not great on his behalf. What about Godfrey here? He's also not looking great. And 11, I assume, is also not enough.
No.
And just terrible across the board. They are all you've put the fear of Heimdal into them.
Damn it. I've got to stop them escaping.
Well, they are going to run now.
Yes. This is a
That's
problem.
okay. Well, not really.
In fact, the first one decides so they have to use their entire action to move away from you. Is that right? Can you just read me the keyword on frightened?
I don't know. Frightened doesn't. It just says they become frightened.
So let's look at cause fear. Frightened. Disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls while the source of its fear is within sight, and it can't willingly move closer to the source of its fear.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense, though, that...
Well, they don't need to run. They just can't move. They're just
can't
terrified
move
of Heimdal. Yeah.
Yeah. Where'd Heimdal? Oh, wait,
I'm on.
He's on the bar.
I'm on the bar.
All right, so They can all see you though, so they're at disadvantage. Let's see. The first one's going to sort of attack Sprig here, but how do I trigger disadvantage? Nope.
Just roll it twice.
Well, if I hold control, I think it, yeah, it rolls with disadvantage. So the second attack was a 17 to hit. I think that one does. The first one was a 7. That will not. So he hits you for 8 bludgeoning damage with the mace. Though he's trying to, with his first attack, he's not able to connect, seeing as he just keeps looking over at Heimdal, standing up there looking menacingly on the bar. Old mate at the door, who hasn't entered yet, is a little bit freaked out though. And he's going to try and take a shot at Heimdal with disadvantage. An 8. I assume you duck mightily below that crossbow.
No, I just stand there.
Catch
Goes
it.
wide.
He just went wide, yeah,
Yeah.
with his quivering.
Barnaby, you're coming under attack again. This guy's is a little bit fraud, and does very, very poorly here with his attacks. He sort of seems like he's spending more time cowering than attacking, and it is your turn.
Right. So these guys are just absolutely terrified of old mate there, aren't they? I'm tossing up between trying to put them to sleep, or you can't. Like, do I get a sense for how? Well, I've fought a few people. I can see if these guys have strong, constitution. If they've got. Do I think they've got a lot of health?
Give me a perception check.
I don't think I'm very good with my perception. Oh, that wasn't bad.
You might surprise yourself.
16, yeah, with that whole +0. Yeah, these guys don't look particularly hardy. Only one of them has taken damage so far, of course, but you think these guys were probably hired for their sort of above average strength. They look pretty, hardy, being constitution, but everything else they don't seem too bright or too smart or too wise or anything like that. I mean, you've certainly fought tougher, right?
Yeah. Yeah, right, cool, okay. 2d8, so if I cast that at 3rd level and it's 5, that is 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, I'm gonna try to put them to sleep using 9d8s. And I reckon that's a decent shot, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Could they? Roll it up, Buttercup. Oh, thanks, Alex.
Not work. Didn't that work?
You gotta do / roll first.
Flash roll, space. 9d8.
Space.
Alex says, "Happy Wednesday, my dudes."
Hey!
Nice. 40.
That's shit house. That's not even going to scratch the surface.
The one that
Jeez,
has taken some acid damage falls asleep. Oh wait, actually, does he? No.
What?
Godfrey falls asleep.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah.
Alright.
Cool.
Cool. I walk over to him. I walk over. Am I disengaging?
Disengaging is a full action, so you've already done your action to.
Yeah.
So you can walk.
Would I be able to?
You can get there for sure, like without provoking an attack of opportunity.
Yeah. As he falls asleep, I pull out I hold my rapier to his throat and look at his comrades.
Yeah. They will get a moment to act in just a bit. It is Sprig's turn.
Okay, so I'm going to summon a conjure a woodland being, summon a fey creature, and I'm going to summon it here just outside the door to block their escape.
Yeah, this fire is no longer there, by the way.
Okay.
So I'm going to cast it. Sample creatures. I don't know what any of these things are. What's a satyr?
It's like Randy. Randy's a satyr, I think, or very similar to it.
Okay.
A satyr is sort of like the goat-legged, human top half kind of creature.
I know. Look, a dryad from The Witcher. I know what a dryad from The Witcher is, but they wouldn't be. Is that a fake creature?
I feel like it's that thing that was stealing things from The Witcher in the series.
A Doppler.
Yeah. No.
Anyway, so I'm just going to Google
a dryad. I've pulled it up for you.
Yeah.
Let me do it there.
Yeah.
That is a dryad. So like a
is
half
that in
tree creature.
Oh yes, absolutely. Summon a dryad.
Mm-hmm. So a dryad appears, and so she manifests from like the wood itself, the floorboards. Vines grow up, and sort of it's almost like a small tree bursts forth from the ground, and then the tree itself gains shape, and stepping out is a sort of a shapely green or sort of green skinned, but it's sort of like the green of fresh wood of a young sapling as she kind of steps forward. And kind of looks at you and turns her head on the side a little bit and says to you in Sylvan, what is your bidding?
Is it? Does she get immediate turn?
Yeah. She gets added.
So she follows me.
Yeah.
And does she have like attacks and things like
that? She does, but if you just give her commands.
So my command is to block the. So don't let these thugs escape. Block the door. Don't let these thugs escape.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, I can cast her wherever I can see, and I can see out this door.
Oh, okay. Yep. Oh, okay. So then she sort of steps out from the greenery then onto the cobblestones.
James, that's a 4th level spell.
Yeah, man.
Jeez, we're not fucking. We are not letting these guys leave.
She steps forward and holds her hands up, and these weeds and vines start sprouting from the ground in a 20-foot. When you cast a spell, must succeed on a strength saving throw. So probably, I think she's smart enough not to do it to everyone. But here, right? Each of these guys need to make a strength saving throw. Well, this guy's asleep, so he fails. Okay, fails. They all fail. So, including the one Godfrey, who's asleep, is now sort of wrapped up in these vines on the ground, and the two that were wielding crossbows sort of scream, and their screams are somewhat muffled as they are also restrained by these these voracious vines. And so not only extremely frightened, they seem quite stuck.
Oh, so sorry, I just want to pause for a second and realize what a predicament these guys are in. One dude's asleep. 3 of them are wrapped up in vines, and they are all shit scared of a gnome.
Yeah.
But that didn't go the way you thought it did it, Godfrey?
Yeah, right.
Godfrey, who's asleep, is just being like covered in grass and vines. The one with the crossbow, who's sort of being held there and seems very afraid in the corner over here. He sees your threat to his boss, Barnaby, and says, "Okay, we're so sorry. I'm sorry. We'll go. We'll take him and go. Please, just call off the gnome."
I look to the gnome.
Definitely not. I'm sorry. I think we take their heads.
So I imagine that you're doing like a gladiator style thumbs up, a thumb in the middle type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're all like eagerly anticipating as you're standing there with your thumb horizontally, and you just slowly point it down, and then I drive the rapier into Godfrey.
Oh wait.
Well, it's Heimdal's turn first.
Oh, good. Because I'm gonna say, can we hold on to Godfrey?
Okay, sorry.
Because Godfrey,
you got there in time. That was good.
Because I want to ask him some questions, like who sent him and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, he's asleep, so
Yeah. So I was actually going to ask one of the other dudes, but I feel like if I feel like Godfrey's going to know more.
I think at this point they've kind of sort of given up, right? Like they see the predicament they're in. You've threatened them. They've kind of dropped their weapons and gone, okay, like just let us go. Just let us get out of here.
Yeah. I don't. So.
We're taking him.
Yeah, I was about to say, do we have, seeing as they've dropped their weapons and they're pretty much surrendering, do we have time to talk between ourselves?
Oh yeah, they're frozen solid and also restrained.
One of them.
Well, there's one bloke who's freezing.
One is unrestrained, but he sort of drops his mace as well, and is sort of like putting his hands up. He's obviously trying. At the corner of his eye, he keeps glancing over at Heimdal, and then just like when Heimdal looks at him, he kind of like flinches. He's the one that's got sort of the acid burns on his forearm. The others,
can we
sort of drop their thing, and the Dryad is just sort of standing out the front, looking, bright green eyes, just kind of looking passively at all this play out.
Shit, babe.
Oh yeah, you know
it. Cool. So I instruct the Dryad to use her vines to further restrain these guys, and it's just so that we have the freedom to talk amongst ourselves without them running off or stabbing us in the back whilst our back is turned.
So we found you in the cellar, right? Right. That's where we found Sprig.
Yeah.
We could put him down there for the time being, and I reckon we make them completely naked, so they've got nothing to hide, and they will feel very vulnerable.
Can I search their pockets for identification, wallets, a driver's license,
tattoos, anything like that?
Sure. Yeah.
Not that it comes out of their pockets, but.
So you sort of get them into the corner, restrained by the Dryad steps forward to restrain another one with the vines, and I assume you move. By that, you also move the one that was kind of just outside. You move them inside.
Yeah, move everything indoors and close the door behind us.
Flip the we are closed, or grand opening coming soon. And Alex says, "Don't forget to check their prison wallets."
Yeah.
So on their person, obviously the typical weapons. They also have, or Godfrey has a pouch of 100 gold on him,
Oh,
and the others have some basic coppers. You're able to sort of rub about 20 silver together between the other three.
So I'm.
They
Yes, I go. Sorry.
I was saying there's no like license. I don't think they certainly don't have a firefighter's license if that's what you're looking for.
those bastards!
Do I find any pictures of family?
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of them's got like a little woodcut, like a wood carving of what could be maybe some kind of wife or sweetheart.
So I pick the wood carving up and study it closely, making clearly obvious that I'm looking at it intently.
Yeah.
And I lift my eyes to him and just go, I have a good memory, and then hand it back to him.
You see, they do have or Godfrey has a small writ that marks them as I don't know. I'm just trying to find the name of a mercenary company.
Even Godfrey's a mercenary?
Mate, everyone's mercenaries. Everyone's got to work for someone.
So you don't even have any legit clan members here?
No. So he's got a thing for the Black Buckler, which, is like a piece of paper that just sort of claims like the bearer of this is working is under the employ of the Black Buckler mercenary outfit.
Paul, write that down. The Black Buckler.
Black Buckler.
Okay. Is he a Jewish man? The Black Buckler.
You're not sure if the Jewish equivalent, because you just mentioned you were stripping them down. I'm not sure if the Jewish equivalent faith in Waterdeep also performs circumcisions. I think that's a realm we won't go into.
Okay. What a rich world you've built for us.
I've spun, yes.
Fantastic. So I take the lads aside whilst for whatever reason. Do we have to get them naked? But yes. I take the lads aside
through the streets saying shame. Shame.
Or shotgun ringing the bell.
Yeah.
I just want to so I just want to understand the lads, our intentions out of earshot from the blokes. What are our intentions with this? Do they have any hope of life, or do we just need to have them disappear?
Look, I don't think we're cold-blooded murderers.
I would agree.
That would sit a little bit uncomfortably if we've tied up these people, holding them in a dungeon, and then like literally massacre them. We're probably going to let them go. But they're hopefully maybe we can create some kind of magical bond or contract that prevents them from like coming back. You know, they'll stick to their word that they won't come back and take vengeance on.
So that was my objective with the whole little wooden figurine, is just to impress on them that I know what your family looks like.
Because we used to have, I think was it Bird Person or maybe Ebrethil could like make contracts, magical contracts. So like
that would be sick.
Can Heimdal as a wizard, as a magical man, or anything like that potentially?
I could go down to the guy with a lisp and see if he's got anything that I can scribe from him. But at the moment, no, I don't have anything like that.
Give me an Arcana check, Heimdal. if you're talking about magical contracts. Just to kind of see what you know about these kind of things.
And do we have a friend at a bookstore next door that we
Yeah,
may
that guy.
ask for? Maybe he knows.
That's exactly the guy I was talking about. The guy with the lisp.
So magical contracts, especially sort of Fey contracts, and Sprig may know some of this. Well, actually, Fey contracts are often very like unwritten, and even just like thanking a Fey can be like you put yourself in their debt and you've accepted some kind of like tipping of the scales that you weren't aware of. Other magical contracts that are more in the realm of, what everyone's favorite Garfield the Deals Warlock has spun up a couple of times, are always sort of entered into willingly, and is usually some sort of trade or bargain. You could probably coerce. It'd be tough to coerce someone into it because I guess it's sort of like sign this or it's your life. But like usually
would we be able to trade their life or that though? Would that be a trade?
I don't know because it's coercion. I'm not sure if it's like a willing thing.
Oh, they'll be willing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
grey area there.
No,
it is a bit of a grey area.
Willing within their soul. They have to genuinely be willing, and they have to. Yeah, I think I get where the
distinction is. I mean,
yeah.
There could also be just the level of that old mundane level of contract, which is I give you my word that I will incinerate you if I see you again. Like that's not really magical, but it probably gathers a lot of power.
Honestly, I think they would believe it if we just let him go, especially if we hold on to him for a day in the dungeon, and then
could we bluff it and just write a contract and say that your skin will be flayed ever so slowly off your skin if you break this contract, and just bluff the shit out of it.
They are terrified of Heimdal still, so we could use that to our advantage. Yeah.
For sure.
I like that idea. I like the idea. We bluff it. Let's try. Yeah. See our way and let them know that this is a magical contract.
The thing
and you can get your Fey creature to like bring it to them and be like forged in Fey magic. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I do is
wait. Can we just quickly before we approach them? Just bear in mind that these guys are not the guys who are actually after us. These guys are mercenaries, so they can not come back all they want. That's not solving a problem.
Then they're just going to send another bunch of guys though.
And
that's fine. Then we'll tie them up.
Yeah.
The objective out of this is the objective out of this is to make sure that one, these particular guys don't come back, but two, they communicate to whoever sent them that staunching us or at least extorting us is just not worth the hassle. No matter what happens, it's just it's either they're not worth it.
We were being malevolent letting them go to spread this word. I think that's definitely the priority, because them not coming back, man, they're not fucking coming back. Like,
but
we don't even need to try.
They're going to go back to their boss. They're going to go back to their boss and say something.
Who is the mercenary leader?
Yeah, or whoever owns the contract on the mercenaries. Yeah, but whatever it is, we don't want people coming back and setting the place on fire, because that's the threat that they gave.
Yes, correct.
So we want to convince them that it's either that we're paupers and it's just never going to get any dollars out of us, or we're going to cause more trouble than the 100 crowns that they're going to get out of us every week. And the only people who can convince the higher ups of that are these guys. So we need to make it in their best interest to convince their higher ups that this is the way to go.
Okay, so should we first of all ask them if they know, which they probably won't know, and then like who it is that's targeting us?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I
Straight up
mean,
interrogation.
and obviously the end goal is for them not to come back. So all down with
Mhm.
that. But
Yeah, just remind me, just so I've got the idea in my mind. Where are they, and where are you having this conversation? So just so we
we're
can
around the
paint the
corner.
word picture.
Yeah.
We're upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but weren't they in
And
the
are they
basement?
still in the
Didn't we-
front?
didn't
They're
we
in the
strip-
foyer.
No, didn't we put them in the basement?
Sure. Yeah. We put them in the basement.
Cool. All right,
Yeah.
just making sure.
Yeah. And they're still bound by my dryads.
And
Yeah.
naked.
How long does she stick around for?
She
An
lasts
hour.
until let me just go back to my spells.
I've got here that she's here for an hour.
Here's for an hour. Yeah, which is
Cool.
up to an hour.
All right. So you command her to
Nothing's
take them out the back, and not shoot them, but just take them into the basement, your former sort of prison, and
And
she
restrain them.
Yeah, and she restrains them down there.
So if we go back to the black peoples,
Buckle.
the black buckle, could they tell us who? Could we get the information out of do we want to know who sent them? Who sent them to us?
No, I don't think we really care as long as they don't come back.
Yeah, that's it. Let's just send a message. If they do come back, then we'll
We'll deal with it.
There'll be no
yeah.
Okay.
All right,
so
let's try to bluff a fake contract handed by a fake creature that details in minute levels what we will do to them.
yeah,
And we'll
horrible. Or not what we'll do to them, what will happen to them spontaneously, like their skin bubbles away, on them and their loved ones, for eternities, whatever.
And it's also not just them, it's if any one of their organization is sent back. So they're going to be, they want to communicate this message.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Cool.
So by this
so we
time,
go down,
you go downstairs. I mean, Godfrey's still asleep. The other three just sort of tied up, naked and afraid.
Oh, we wake up Godfrey to tell him this.
Sure.
I don't go down, by the way. I'm not going to be joining in the...
Okay.
Because my fear is actually worn off by now. So I want them to remember it. I don't want them to see me and be like, oh shit, why were we scared of him? So,
Yeah.
Oh, smart man. You are a smart man. Very canon right there.
Yep.
Yeah. The lasting image. The last thing they remember was a scary.
Oh my god.
Was sort of like the fear toxin in Batman Begins. Just like that picture of Batman, right?
Gland just keeps excreting every time you mention Heimdal.
Yeah, that's right. They just get that fear. They get PTSD just thinking about the gnome up on the bar. So who's going down and who's doing the talking?
So Barnaby and Hjarbinger will go down together, and so is it persuasion, deception, isn't it?
Well, it depends what you're doing.
Performance. Okay, so I suggest to Barnaby that I suggest that we disguise this contract as like a fey contract where I can, I grab each one of their hands and grow vines across both, up their forearm as you describe to them with using your performance exactly in the minutiae of detail what will happen to both them and their families should they, should anyone come
violate
back,
the contract.
Violate the contract, and the contract in general is, convince your uppers, the people above you, that we aren't worth the time to come. Whatever, use your imagination, my friends, on how to convince the people above you that we are not worth their time, and either make this contract or you will die. So
Cool.
Beautiful.
that's the plan. So we go downstairs, and
Godfrey is sort of like, sitting there bound, naked, and afraid, and he says, "Look, fine. You don't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Just let us go. Just call off your tree, lady."
Well,
and I sort of
when you I'm sorry. They're not signing anything, are they? This is all. It's done.
Mhm.
It's a done deal. Yeah, my fault. Cool.
Sorry, Dan. Did they
Mhm.
agree? Was that them agreeing to the signing of a deal, or
They haven't heard
making
anything about a
contract?
deal. This is his reaction as soon as you enter the room.
Thought so.
He's
Okay.
just like,
Um,
I'm so
And
sorry.
I sort of take a second. I just sort of nod to the dryad, and she loosens her grip but doesn't release.
Yeah.
Right. We then do as James alluded to. We put their hands together, wrap it in vines, and I give them a terrifying, a bone chilling performance on what will happen to them, their families and their souls, the generations to come if they violate this agreement.
Do
forged
they agree to
in-
make a? I'll ask this question. Do they agree to make a contract, or do they decline?
Well, what do you? So how are you laying it out to them? Like, give me the exact wording, because you asked me, do they agree? Like, I don't know what they've heard, right?
Oh, okay, all right. So I was just for the. Yeah, I just didn't want to repeat myself, but that's fine.
Well,
Okay,
if Barnaby's
walked in.
performing this, you've walked in.
Yeah.
Godfrey said,
that's
"I'm
right.
really
Yeah,
scared.
okay.
Essentially, please just let us go. Like, we'll leave." And then Barnaby, what do you do?
So the theatrics are happening. All the stage conventions are all set. And Barnaby says, "Leave this place. Agree to never return. Agree to tell those that you work with, that you associate with, of the horrors that you've seen in this place. For if you do, and forever, leave and never return, and never threaten this house or any of us ever again. If you fail to meet these terms, if you violate this agreement, then your skin will bubble and boil, and you'll be in eternal pain and agony, and it's gonna suck. It's gonna suck real bad.
You're not gonna die, but not only if you don't return, but if we get visited by any of your
Anyone
comrades.
that's associated with you.
Of ill will.
Give me a performance check with advantage. I'll also accept like I guess a deception, whatever's better.
Yeah. I will go ahead and roll that out.
And with advantage because you've got them in the palm of your hand right here. So that's 17. Even on a 7, you're doing well. Godfrey and the other 3 were like, yes, of course, like, we'll leave, we'll never come back, you'll never see us again, I'm so sorry. Like, they don't I don't think they seem to grasp that it's a fey magical thing. But they're just like, yes, of course, like, we'll leave, please, like, just don't release the gnome again. Just
Cool. All right.
So was that everyone, or did somebody hold out there? Was that everyone?
No, that's all.
Agreed. Okay, cool. Then I nod to the dryad to release them, and then I actually release the dryad, and she sort of turns into like a yellowy glowing powder as she disappears back into the Fae.
Mm-hmm.
And we give them back their clothes and head head back upstairs. And then I ring the purse with 100 gold in front of Gregory,
Godfrey.
what's his Godfrey, in front of Godfrey, and so payment for our inconvenience, my good sir, and then kick them out on their ass. They're not wearing their clothes. They just have their clothes in their arms. Naked in front of the front door.
As you kick them out, and they're sort of like, yes, okay, and they're looking very extremely chastised. Barnaby, you get a message. The magical. Oh no, this is. Oh wait, no, you already got that one. What's this? Where's my other one? You get the magic spell message. It delivers a message to you. A sending spell, sorry. In your mind, you hear these words. As this is sort of like, you've kicked them out and you're watching them like walk up the alleyway. There's a couple of people like pointing and going like, oh, what's going on over there? Like a couple of kids start laughing at them, throwing stuff. And the voice you hear, Barnaby, is, I am Vajra Safar, the Black Staff.
Why can't anyone just be named John? You know?
Come to Blackstaff Tower in the castle ward at once. Bring your friends.
Okay.
And you,
as per telepathic?
Yes, it's telepathic. So only Barnaby hears this, and you get a chance to respond. Yeah, you can answer in sort of an equivalent kind of level of sentence. You get
what
like
was
a
his name again? Sorry, Dan.
I am Vajra Safir, the Black Staff.
Sorry, Dan, can I ask for some elaboration? I know I don't hear this.
It sounds like a woman's voice.
Okay, thank you. Woman's voice. Eloquent? Question mark?
To answer Barnaby, yes. Barnaby probably thinks so for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Does she sound hot?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, she sounds like she's got that kind of regal kind of haughtiness about her. The tone is a bit insistent, right? Like it's like, hey, this is who I am. Come here right now. Bring your friends.
Okay. I'm going to respond and ask, should we bring snacks? No, I'm going to say, are you in danger? Are you in immediate? Oh, she can't respond back. I can't ask a question.
Yeah.
I can give a statement in reply.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to say, as you wish.
Okay. Yep. Cool. I like this. Yeah. I'm happy to. Yep.
Cool.
We're doing a Princess Bride thing here, guys.
All right.
And then I turn to the guys and say, well, now that that's done, I just had and I'm sure that the druid and the wizard are familiar with the spell casting. What's it called, Dan? What was that actual?
Sending.
Yeah. I'm sure they're familiar with that. So I say, guys, I've just had one of them sending things message from Vasha Sapir telling us to go to the Blackstaff Tower. I told her we would. Probably should have checked with you both first, but you know how these things work. I kind of had to respond immediately. Yeah. So what do you want to do that? I mean.
Yeah. So I suggest that we. Can somebody please remind me how our relationship with the bookseller ended last time? It was relatively
good. It's amicable. Yeah.
Shall we see if we can get some advice on who this lady is, some intel from?
That's a good idea.
From them. So let's how about we do that? Let's go to the bookshop next door. Let's lock up. Put out any bonfires that Heimdal's setting. And,
that went when I caused fear.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
But knowing you just like putting them back on, taking it off again.
yeah. Fucking pyromaniac Heimdal.
All right.
I'm just
gonna quickly have a short rest here, guys. Just gonna just lick my wounds a little bit here.
So you take an hour tidying up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And can we actually take a loo break and a drink break?
Sure. Yeah, let's take a quick snack break.
All right, take short rest.
How you doing, Brent? Alex, nice of you to join us. In the grand old city of Waterdeep. I know this is a city. The city has laws and rules and stuff. Something that the other group I just wouldn't be able to handle, I imagine. Also, I'm kind of surprised that they didn't just murder those people. Maybe this civilization thing has something to it. I'm just going to chuck us on a little quick break thing, and I'm going to grab a drink, and I'll be right back.
When did this go first?
Kind of you?
Yeah, we went shopping the other day, first time we've been shopping forever. And gotta get it now. Too good to leave. Too good to leave. Thanks. Yeah, next time we catch up, so 2 weeks from now, we will do it.
This sounds absolutely much like that. I bought a new TV for the weekend. A Samsung 75-inch LED.
LED, not OLED?
No, I didn't go the QLED or LED, just the LED. So I had a look at them and I spoke with the people and it's just like, I don't care that much. The price difference is quite significant.
Yeah, absolutely. What
yeah. So it's like some crystal thing. It's like better than your average LED, but it's not your pure LED one.
It's 75. That is a big TV, I think.
It is, and it's hanging on the wall.
Oh, you got it. Did you self-mount it? Or did
No,
you
God, no. What? Oh, fuck no, James. I would not be doing that. No, paid the whatever it was to get it wall mounted and cables hidden, all that kind of thing. So
Oh, very nice.
that's nice. Yes. So very
Alrighty.
happy with that. Finally,
What'd you get?
TV.
Mm.
One where
75-inch
the remote actually works now.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
Welcome to the future.
I watched. I went over to Sean's place last night to watch the Mandalorian, the new episode, and
Nice.
he's got my old TV, and I walked in and didn't recognize it. I'm like, man, because he bought it off me. I was like, I felt real bad because I'm like, oh, he's not using the TV that he bought off me. I'm like, oh, did I fucking like force a product on him that he didn't really want? And then we started watching the TV show, and it was my TV. I just didn't recognize it. I was like, oh, okay, that's okay then.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
I must admit that. So if you have a look on Discord, I've just posted some photos of the horror gnome, and the one on the bottom is going to give me nightmares.
There's a game I want to play, Phasmophobia, where you play as 4 people who are ghost hunters and have to go into a house together and like work out what kind of ghost is in the house, and it's very creepy.
Is it a board game?
No, it's on Steam, so it's like $10 or $15 on Steam, I think.
Yeah, those gnomes are pretty fucking terrifying, actually.
Where do I see this?
In the Fancy Lads text channel in Discord.
How do I get to a text channel?
Click the Fancy Lads, like the hashtag. So it's above the voice channel that we're in.
Okay, right, yeah. Sorry, I keep on thinking that I'm going to move out of the voice channel, which I've done many times before.
Yep.
ResMed has finally recovered, Steve.
It has, but it's taken a dive today.
Yeah, it's just today. But so is everything else, as people realise that. Yeah, that.
That Trump's
Wow,
going
yeah,
to demand
Trump-
a second term.
I hope
but
he
also-
gives up.
Oh, he will.
He won't. He won't.
No,
not in
Fox,
his nature.
Fox isn't supporting him. No, he won't. But Fox News isn't supporting him. Like,
They're
even
not,
the-
which is good. Yeah.
Let's.
Yeah, which means that nobody's going to hear about him except for if they're on Alan Jones. And whilst Alan Jones has a fucking big, listenership, supporter base, not big enough. Not as
well,
big as Fox.
you know who isn't in Waterdeep?
Yeah.
Trump. So let's focus on the politics of this campaign.
Yes, my apologies for this guy.
Yeah, so one thing I want to get from this guy is, if possible, a spell that causes fire retardancy, if that's a thing.
Oh yeah. All right. So you go and visit old mate. Let's pull up his thing. Is it Rasheen?
Of course, it has S's in it.
Yeah.
I thought it was Rachin.
Rafin? Because he has a lisp, because he's a dragonborn. Let me figure this out. Oh, Rithal. There we go.
I like the little book in the background.
Yeah. And so when you come into the bookshop, you hear "Hello, friends. What brings you back to Rathal's bookstore?" The bookworm's treasure.
Who wants to go? I will. Rathal, my good man, how are you? Good to see you. Shake his hand vigorously. I sort of lean on the counter and go, "A good lad. We've recently been visited by a group of young men that have asserted that we need some fire insurance policy. Just familiar, I'm curious if you've received a similar offer from a group of burly young men.
He says, "Oh, very interesting. I did have when I first opened the store, a group tried to shake me down for protection money, but I told them to f off, and put the fear of Tiamat into them, and told them that if they came back, I'd bring my own fire and ice as well, and maybe even a lightning bolt, and sent them packing."
Ah, yeah,
Good
yeah,
news.
a man after my own heart, and I give him a nice little cordial tap on the back.
He says,
And then,
he says, "Well, I hope you didn't pay them. You really shouldn't encourage things like that. You could go to the city watch, but I fear they won't really look into it too hard. Look, it sounds like someone's trying to shake you down, or maybe even run you out of town."
I sort of laugh, ha ha ha. Payment? They paid us. And I sort of, glance back at the lads. I was like, we did, however. I was wondering if you could do me a big favor, my good friend. I'm curious, do you know this person? And I sort of click at Barnaby.
And I say, what can you tell us about the Blackstaff Tower or Vashra Sapir?
Oh, the Blackstaff Tower, and Vazra. Well, she wields the fabled Blackstaff. It's a very magical. It's a magic staff that is given, as well as the name, the role of the Blackstaff. They're sort of the leader of magical thought in the city, and the Blackstaff Tower it sort of comes with the job. It's up in the castle ward. Lots of apprentices study there. It's protected by all kinds of wards, and no one really knows what the Blackstaff kind of gets up to. Though there is talk that she is the head of the grey. What is it? Come on, Dan. Where are we? Here we go. The Grey Hands.
Head of the Grey Hand. Okay.
What do the Grey Hand want?
But who are the Grey Hand?
Yeah, well,
Why?
you haven't heard the Grey Hand. They're kind of like a private security force under Vazra's command. They're sort of like. If you've ever heard of like a SEAL team or like a MI5 kind of deal, a force that's sort of under the control of the Blackstaff, and their whole goal is to undertake missions that are good for the city.
It's like, it sounds like a good. Yeah, sounds good. I like it. That's all right.
Cool. All right. So they're good guys. They're goodies.
Well, if you're a Waterdeep patriot, I suppose. But I mean, it's a lot of power for one person to have. Not only having the Blackstaff, but sort of a faithless army who does their bidding under the cloak of night.
Yeah, that's true.
Depends how libertarian you are.
I do a lot of things under a cloak at night, so she can be forgiven.
And tell me, how is their leader elected? Through a democratic system of government, or another way, perhaps?
Popularity contest.
See, with Vazra was announced as the heir to the Blackstaff, so it's sort of a whoever is the Blackstaff nominates the next in line.
Okay.
But there is also, I believe, some voting. This is now Daniel not really knowing how Waterdeep works. The Lords of Waterdeep do vote on this kind of stuff as well, but of course, sometimes in history, look, it's not a perfect system. Sometimes the Black Staff refuses to give up the staff, but they don't run the city. They're sort of the Lords of Waterdeep, and they elect an open lord that everyone knows about, and they're kind of the one that's running the city. The Black Staff is more about keeping it safe.
Okay. So I grab a coin out and flick it to him, and I give him a wink. Say, "Thanks, Rashid." And then we
Rithal.
Rithal. Please forgive my lisp.
Yeah.
And
What lisp?
And then I turn to the lads and just go, "Yeah, I think we should. I think we should follow her summons."
I'm down.
Question mark. You down, Barnaby?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
Yeah. All right, let's do it. Let's go. So we agree, and we head to
The castle
her meeting place.
Yeah, you start making your way through the castle district to the castle ward. Let's pull the ye old map. So you guys are down, I think, actually, down south, near in kind of the dock ward area, the old where your house is, because of the scum that you are. And you make your way north through the city, up through the castle ward to the Blackstaff Tower. It takes most of the day to kind of walk, if you're going to walk up there for sure.
Yeah, that's all right.
Where the hell is the castle ward?
I can see the market.
It's pretty, you're standing on it. Your tokens are kind of standing on it.
Oh, we're on it. Okay,
we're
right.
right,
I was
yeah.
looking for it. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. And we're at Blackstaff Tower. All right.
So it's most of the day, right?
Yeah. What do you do on the walk?
Oh,
Sing
Yeah.
songs about the fancy lads, and how they will inevitably find the 500,000 dragons, and rid the city of all foes and corruption, for we are the greatest heroes of them all. Yeah, fancy that.
So you head in.
So I throw out there that I believe potentially at some stage someone at the dock sent me towards the castle.
Yeah.
To find the knowledge of how to unfold this boat.
Well, that's fun.
So just letting you know, I'll probably try.
did you say unfold a boat?
Yeah, I've got a boat that can unfold to be a small boat or even a large boat, and then back to pocket size that I found
That's
Real cool
pretty
boat.
cool.
in a crypt, which is dwarven, and I need the dwarven words to make it operate, which I don't know.
Cool.
So as you start making your way north through the city does start looking nicer and nicer, and you definitely find yourself in like the kind of buildings that you're walking past go from like these ramshackle kind of inns, taverns, shops, etc., almost like the kind of rundown manor that you have, and you start walking through and seeing sort of a more more kind of stately clientele. Pretty much as soon as you cross the high road in Waterdeep Way, it's almost like night and day. You're on the good side of the tracks now. You can see just to your south the castle Waterdeep standing above the city on a great bluff that extends out from the mountain. Its towers soaring hundreds of feet into the sky. And there's also you can't miss Blackstaff Tower. It's a squat black blot in an otherwise pretty ward. Humble though the edifice might be, looking at this thing sort of towering above the city here can give you a bit of a queasy feeling. And as you sort of walk around, you notice more people dressed in sort of noble finery. Barnaby, you're sort of potentially at home around this company a little bit more, as you are obviously grown up with nobility, or at least performing for nobility. And Heimdal, you notice what appear to be some other magish practitioners sort of going about their business. You pass by a coffee shop as a couple sort of sitting there in sort of extravagant robes, sitting over coffee, chatting about Learmon's law of bigger on the insides, the non-Euclidean space dimension, things like that, are kind of little snatches of conversation you overhear. Hjarbinger, the thing you probably notice the most is that as you move through this area, there is more greenery. So what was obviously a lot of stuff kind of tightly packed in before, now occasionally you'll walk past a street and there's sort of like a little park area or like a little greenery space that has been allotted. This place seems wealthy enough that they can allow space for just trees,
Yeah.
And this is a picture of kind of the area and what it looks like.
Very Victorian.
So I let him know about this tower might be significantly larger than what it looks like, based on what I've been hearing and my knowledge of the fifth dimension.
Yep.
Cool. So was there a specific time we were meant to meet this young lass?
Oh shit! I think there was. Was it immediately? It was either 12 o'clock or immediately.
When you said anything back at the store, you just said, go meet her now. You didn't really give us a time back then.
Yeah. But probably they would have stuck out. Yeah, all right, let's head in. Should we
find, because we've been walking all day, we could go in first thing in the morning.
As you kind of walking through the streets, you also see a massive statue that kind of looms out over the city. It is and you see sort of signs to it. You hear sort of town criers as well, talking, or some other tourists kind of pointing up at it. It looks like this. It's a statue with sort of stairs going up its arm and a couple of small houses even built into it.
I remember this from the book that the officer that you mentioned earlier, Barnaby,
Captain Staggart
gave us a book of Waterdeep when he said, keep the blood off the streets, and here's a little book, and this was in the book towards the end, actually. Some magish lady lives in there, possibly to do with this place that we're going now, who appears from time to time. No real set. That's what I remember. I don't know, but
you see that off in one direction, but you see the Blackstaff tower in the other. These are obviously very separate buildings. Let me see if I can pull up a picture of the Blackstaff tower.
There's a powerful wizard who lives in there. That's what I know.
Okay. Powerful wizard.
A powerful wizard. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, it's Waterdeep, the city of splendor. Every fantasy, every vice you could ever have, need, or want, you can get filled right here.
You
So you make it.
I could eat a packet of Tim Tams while strangling a goat.
Yes.
Wow.
In fact, no one bats an eye when you ask if that's possible.
It's like Rainbow.
You make your way to. Oh, is it save? There's sort of this tower system that's up above Waterdeep, looking very somewhat majestic. And you get to the front and knock on the pretty plain looking sort of door for the building that houses its the bottom of it there, and you notice that there's sort of a main entrance, and give me a perception check. Whoever's kind of looking out around here.
Oh, mate, I got perception out the wazoo. I got a 25. I got a natty 20.
Yeah. All right. You see everything.
You see everything.
You see
My
through
mind's eye
time.
opens up.
You notice that like this tower appears to be made of sort of a smooth black stone. In fact, that's probably not the best photo of it. Why did I choose that? Anyway. It appears to be made of smooth black stone with no real windows or doors, though there is sort of a structure at the bottom. You notice as well, though, that there are sort of young, sort of college-aged wizards who seem to walk past the main entrance on Sword Street where you are, and seem to sort of go around the side. And sort of touch their left palm onto an area, or onto a gate, and kind of walk through sort of like a side entrance.
Does each one do it, or does one do it and it opens the door?
One does it and it opens, and yeah, you probably see occasionally like a group of 2 or 3 go in together, and just one of them does it. But do you knock at the main door, or what do you do?
May as well go to the main door, eh?
Yep.
Or what do you guys reckon?
Yeah, I reckon.
no,
Oh,
main door
look,
was
I mean, we
good.
could try to show them up, but let's be polite and friendly.
Yeah, that's it.
You knock on the door, and a sort of magical voice comes out and says, "Yes, do you have an appointment?"
Yes, I've been actually summoned here by Varsha.
Name?
Barnaby the Beautiful Bard.
Okay, please wait.
Thank you.
And then after a minute or two, the gates open, and in there is a young woman wearing sort of blue robes, and she's got sort of like a clipboard sort of situation going. She's got a quill, an inked quill that's sort of floating above the clipboard, sort of taking notes, writing. She's like, yes, Barnaby, the beautiful bard, you said? Yep. The Black Staff is expecting you. She's currently in a meeting right now, but I've organised some tea and biscuits for you. If you wouldn't mind just waiting in here in the antechamber. And your companions are?
This little guy is Heimdal, and to my left here is the famed, the wonderful Hjarbinger Sprig, whose name I didn't forget and wasn't stalling for.
Excellent. And you see the quill kind of scribe that, and she leads you over to a sort of it's hard to say a corner because it's a round tower, and it's very clearly still round on the inside. Much bigger than Hermione's tower, if you remember that one. This is sort of a big old building. And she leads you over to a corner. There's some nice couches, and there's some tea and that set up there. And she says,
ask her for if she has any cucumber water.
Of course. We have cucumber water. We have goji juice. We also have cham. We got some of that chamomile.
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 Okay. I'll grab a chamomile, thank you.
Does Heimdal know any awesome drinks that might revitalize and re-energize?
Like a potion?
Like a potion, yeah.
I mean, Heimdal knows of potions.
Hey, heaps of potions, right?
Sure.
What was that potion that you drink that we have some of that was like a milk potion that gives you +2?
Blue milk.
Was it blue milk?
I'll tell you, the potions that I have in my possession are potions of great healing, potion of climbing, and potion of water breathing.
Nah, we got some dodgy, potentially cool.
Oh, that dodgy stuff.
Yeah, the hit dice one, and it was some sort of milk. Dan?
Yeah, you bought it off the dodgy guy. It was like a vitality potion.
Yeah. Can I ask if they have any of that milk? Because she seems to have everything, and these guys are pretty ritzy. So I'm like pushing that pen.
Yeah. So what exactly do you ask for? Some sort of like blue milk revitalizing potion.
So we know what the milk is, and we thought it was just trace amounts in this particular potion. So.
Okay, yeah. So you ask for the sort of key ingredient. Yeah. She says, I'm sorry, you'll have to visit an apothecary for something of that nature. We do for students here, they do get some access to that in alchemy classes, but we don't have any of that on hand. It's strictly sort of mundane drinks we're offering here, and as you as she's kind of explaining that to you, there's sort of a gentleman is walking down the stairs. You see his boots first, and then you realize it's Raynar Neverember.
Oh, bro.
And he's like, "Oh, Heimdal, Barnaby, gentlemen I've never met before. How's it going?"
Really good, man. We're how are you doing? I mean, last time we met, it was under real different circumstances. Hey, we were battling and shit. I mean, it's good to see you in one piece. You keeping out of trouble?
Oh, absolutely. I just had a meeting with Vajra. Told her we've been chatting all morning, really, about sort of what's been happening in Waterdeep. We're sort of old friends. What are you?
What's she like? Is she cool? I mean, she's actually summoned us here. Actually,
oh,
she asked us to meet us.
Interesting. Well, she. I mean, I only spoke I spoke very highly of you. I hope I wasn't being untoward by mentioning that you'd gotten me out of a scrape, or and sort of gotten me and flown out of trouble more than once, I guess.
All right, so maybe she just wants to have a chat around our skills, or maybe thank us with a handsome reward, perhaps.
Yeah, she was asking about. Well, I mean, she had some questions about my father, and you know, if I knew anything or had come to know anything about the money he'd been embezzling. But as I said to you, I mean, I know as much as she does. I suppose probably less.
Yeah,
probably.
Maybe. Unlikely.
I don't know. He seems to know nothing. Except for
He
that
does.
smooth stone.
But I mean, I informed her of the gang that had kidnapped Floon and how you sort of given them something to think about. She's very civic minded. Is probably the best advice I can give you. She's if you're doing something that's good for Waterdeep, she'll probably be on board. But I mean, it's been excellent to see you. How's Mara doing?
Oh, yeah, she's well, keeping well. Her and Floon are very happy to be back in each other's lives and safe in one piece.
Well, that's good to hear. And what are you three doing the rest of the time you're in town? I'm sorry, we didn't actually get introduced. I'm Raina Neverember, and he reaches out a hand to Sprig. I think maybe James is disconnected or can't hear me. So he says, "Oh, the strong silent type, then. Okay." So what?
Yes,
About
this is our new companion, Hjarbinger Sprig. Normally, he's quite a talkative fellow, but I think he's intimidated by all the free beverages. There's no such thing as a free bar, So he's just very taken aback.
Speaking of a free bar, I mean, Floon tells me that you're opening an establishment in the city.
Yes, we have. We've opened our own bar. You should absolutely come by sometime. Bring all your rich friends.
Can you hear me?
And
No?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, we've got you now.
Hey. Okay. Sorry. Can I respond? Sorry, I was talking, but nobody was hearing me.
You were fingers deep in that sweet jam.
So I grasped Neverember's hand, and as he outstretches it, lean forward and just give him a quick sniff. What does he smell like?
Excellent question. Give me a perception check to see. Give me like a schnoz roll to see what kind of to see if you can tell the difference between, is he rocking Lynx Africa? Has he got Old Spice? What's going on? He's sort of well scrubbed. He smells like soap and some spices. He's definitely someone who takes good care of himself. He's wearing sort of this kind of noble garb, a little bit nicer than the picture I've got up on screen there. He smells. Would be an interesting smell for him to have.
He kind of looks like one of the Dowling brothers with long hair.
Elderberry.
Yeah, elderberry, good. I love it.
Yeah,
thanks,
cool.
Steve.
Yep. All right. So he not being assaulted by the smell, but simultaneously knowing that a lot of these perfumes are made from flower extracts. He sort of just he doesn't say anything, just sort of gruffs, and releases the handshake and steps back.
Excellent. The clerk says, the black staff will see you now, and kind of motions you to go up the stairs in the tower, and you start making your way up.
Wonderful.
There's sort of a central. No, there's no elevator, unfortunately. The stairs are actually in the center of the tower, as opposed to a lot of other towers perhaps you've seen where the stairs sort of go around the outside. Round the outside.
Dan saying, "Great minds, Dan."
Yeah. Whereas this being quite a large tower, let's see if I can give you a cool map here. Blackstaff. Will this work instead? Yeah. So a little bit like this. You see that you make your way in, and you make your way up to the second floor, where there's you sort of moved into a meeting room, and inside is a sort of diminutive woman with olive skin, short black hair, indigo blue eyes, and she's holding a long black staff. And as you,
Looks like,
sorry,
oh, I was going to say, it looks like Bill from Doctor Who.
Yeah, a little bit.
as you enter, the clerk kind of announces you and says, Blackstuff, this is your 1 o'clock. This is Barnaby the Beautiful Bard, as summoned.
At your service, my lady.
She kind of nods at you regally. She's got this sort of haughty kind of look about her, kind of imperiously looking down her nose at you somewhat, despite being sort of shorter than you. She also looks quite young.
Okay.
She gestures with her free hand to some seats at the table and says, "Please, yes, thank you for coming so quickly. Please sit."
Well, we came as soon as we could. As you know, we were obviously your message sounded urgent.
Yes. And so do the three of you sit down?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I stand.
You stand.
Yeah.
She also stays standing. And she says, My city is under threat, gentlemen, and I have been informed that perhaps you have what it takes to help protect my city.
We most definitely do.
Absolutely. Our the feats that we've accomplished and many and yeah, they're incredibly vast and just magnificent. We can't. I try to write songs that capture their brilliance, but even me, the greatest bard in the world, fails to properly demonstrate how accomplished we are.
She goes over to
saving a city like Waterdeep. It's well within our repertoire.
She goes over to some sheets of paper on the table and starts sort of leafing through them and says, here it says you saved the town of Winterhaven and killed Calarel the Vile. And a report here from the mages of Sarun that you helped them weed out a vile snake in their midst. One of their own, in fact, in the Thunderspire Mountain.
That we did. That was a very memorable experience, actually. If I recall correctly, I once took over a minotaur. It was wonderful.
So these are the kind of acts of bravery and that I'm looking for in Force Grey, and you come highly recommended not only from external sources such as Waterdeep, Winterhaven and Thunderspire, or the Seven Pillared Hall, I should say, in Nentir Vale. But closer to home, Raynar speaks very highly of you and says that you saved him and one of his friends. But as you are new to the city, I must ask, where do your loyalties lie?
Loyalties?
Real good question. Yep.
So loyalties, well, I can't speak for the group, but personally, my loyalties lie with the land, my good lass.
We fight for the good.
We fight for the true.
And the true and the good. So quite civic, you might say. But
I must admit, your the virtues that you espouse, are attracting and are appealing to me. We seem to share, some common values.
But we come from the pauper side of town, you see.
The entire town of Waterdeep is my favorite child, from its castle ward to the trade ward, and even the dock ward and the city of the dead. I look after her, and the Force Grey, who I enlist, do that too. Now, I would like to offer you a job, to join the Grey Hands, which is a private security force under my direct command. You'll be asked to do things. You'll be tested, but and you won't always be thanked in the public arena for what you do, because a lot of what you do will happen not off the books, but we try and keep the identity of our agents from the public eye, if you understand.
So a job, a little minor job, but we like to get paid. What is the remuneration rate for this job?
Well, depending on
service?
depending on the tasks you undertake, as a grey hand, there will be payments, and you will rise through the ranks. Get enough renown, and you will qualify to join Force Grey, which is sort of the elite group that is under my command. Now, being part of the Grey Hands means you are under my patronage. That being a favored member of the city, who can maybe count on the Blackstaff to aid them, or perhaps give you a license to perform magic in the city, could be incredibly valuable.
Shit, we need a license for that?
Yeah.
No.
What are we here for? Like, as in, like, before we got to Grey Hand, what did your fling want us to get? We want to.
Yeah, not my fling. More like a daughter than anything. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Let's try and push that out of my mind then.
Steve stops doing all that fan art he was working on. All that.
It just took a dark turn, I tell you what.
He just moves it to a different subreddit.
Yeah.
Well, we are here to get the Rod of Ruin, I believe.
We're back on that. Are we back on the Rod of Ruin?
Are we helping Nara?
We're helping Mara. Yeah. Hold on, what was it? We were helping Mara.
That's right. There was this whole time shit going on.
Younger Mara achieved something, and she just disappeared when we found this. I was always sus about her, I swear. She just disappeared when she found that house. She's like, "Hey, look, a pub," and then she disappeared. And I don't think we've seen her since.
Yeah, but
I think you've probably seen her coming and going. I would say you've seen her coming and going. She's been helping out, like clear out the stuff and do all the nice things. She's even like claimed one of the rooms upstairs. She's got all her Spice Girl stickers on the walls and stuff.
Okay, so we can side her for a while, I suppose. So the next bit is the Rod of Ruin.
What was it? But we were meant to. So she asked you initially.
That's what happens when you have a week off, boys.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of different factions and things as well.
Story arcs.
Yeah. So she initially tasked us with rescuing Floon, and once we did that, she was going to.
Oh, we wanted to find out where the dragons were, the smooth stone. Whatever that smooth stone's called.
Yeah.
I look back to the Blackstaff and just say, 1 minute, as we're discussing.
She looks over at like a big floating hourglass over in the corner.
She wanted us here, all right?
Yeah.
So we were looking for a smooth stone that tells Oh, what was it? The Stone of Galore is what we're after. I believe is actually what Mara's after. Is that correct?
Well, we want the Stone of Glaw because if we get that, then we get the dragons, the 500,000 dragons.
Nah. So the dragons are like what everyone else is after. The Stone of Galore is at the same place.
Oh, we need the Stone of Glaw to find the dragons.
No, they're at the same place. Stone of Galore and the 500 dragons are hidden away by Floon's dad in the same location, and that location is undiscovered. This has just gone off memory, boys.
Yeah, I'm fairly sure we need the stone to find the dragons. And
because the stone's got a location, like it's got a memory locked away in it.
Yeah. So to help you out here, the Stone of Galore contains the location of the vault that Neverember stored or hid away these magical artifacts and gold. So Barnaby is right in that you're looking for the stone to find the vault. In the vault, you'll find the money and the power and the women.
So that's what we need. From this magical black stuff, our reward is ultimately not servitude to her and like a paycheck. We need the Stone of Galore. That should be our.
Yeah, but no one's going to just give us the stone.
No. But like that's what we need to work.
I think it sounds pretty good to have the patronage of one of the most powerful people in the city who kind of runs a private army within there.
Absolutely.
It sounds like a decent offer that she's making.
Great story arc too. So just before we go on, Miss Blackstaff, do you know anything about the Stone of Galore?
She kind of goes from like looking around the room, like pretending not to listen to your conversation as you work out, the last couple of episodes of the story, and she says, "What do you know about the Stone of Galore?"
We're looking for it. It doesn't. That's
You and half the city, it seems.
Mm-hmm. And what do you know about it?
I know that the former Open Lord of Waterdeep used it to store a memory. And so that even he couldn't be tortured into giving up, or through magic, giving up the location of the embezzled hoard of gold that he took from people, or took from the people within the city and surrounding area.
Okay. Can you help us find this Stone of Galore if we are as part of our...
That's our payment. That's our price for joining the Grey Mains.
Part of our... Not all of it.
She says that's a steep price. That stone leads the wielder potentially to a hoard of gold that was stolen from members of this city and beyond. So
I note you really haven't answered the question.
Yeah, I know. I flexed really, just show my muscles and just flex and just go, we're worth it.
Yeah, but you've just been touting, just so you know, everything that you just touted about our feats are basically what's happened in the last 2 or 3 months.
Yeah. Can I just kind of want to do a performance check on, even though my performance is really, really bad. I just want to see how good my flex is.
Sure, what are you trying to do?
Oh, I just flex and just go, we're worth it. It's our payment.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks good. She raises an eyebrow. You get one eyebrow raise.
-1.
And it's an 18, dude. Man, I think that's our prior.
That's your prison. That's your business card right there. The Hjarbinger Sprig flex.
So,
She says an item of that value would only be entrusted to my most loyal agents. If you can prove yourselves loyal to the city of Waterdeep, and I trust that getting that stone and getting access to that vault is going to benefit the city, and that money will be used to benefit the city, then I could be convinced to hand over that stone if we find it, or even help you find it. But
So
I'm not going to hand that over to some people who've been in the city all of, as far as I can tell, 4 days, who have just blazed a
Can we agree
trail
on a
of destruction everywhere they've gone, and have done good work. Don't get me wrong. That is why we're having this conversation. But you seem to be, powered by benevolent greed, not necessarily a higher calling
benevolent,
like
good, yeah.
the city itself.
You're a clever
Yeah,
one.
got it.
You are.
Yeah.
You are very smart. And look, you're not entirely incorrect. Although I'd argue that benevolent greed, we're putting it to good use, as you're saying. So, this idea of spending those dragons to help the city, I think there's room to interpret that. What if we say that decking out our bar is going to help the city. Maybe we could take a couple of those dragons.
Look, just this afternoon, we didn't kill 5 people. We could have, but we chose not to.
Really, really proud of that one, guys.
Her eyes narrow a little bit, and she's like, "I'm choosing not to kill 3 people right now."
Hard, isn't it?
Perfect response.
Yeah.
That's good.
So we helped the city today by shutting down a.
So she says, "Okay, so you accept my invitation to join the Grey Hands and perform missions for the city and work your way up its ranks."
As long as, and I just kind of sideline this conversation a little bit, talk to the boys rather than her.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a job. We've got a bar. We're trying to get something going here.
Independent contractors, my good lad.
I'd be happy to be on call, but this isn't like going to be a full-time gig.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I reckon just
if
we're independent contractors, we get to choose the work, and just say that we, whilst we are fond of her ideals, we may not just be at her beck and call. We're not one of the Grey Hands. We are a fancy lad. And
I think she's really trying to like make us a Grey Hand, though.
She's trying,
She's saying like join the organization, be part of the command structure of she gives you missions, and if you do those missions, you will get rewards and move your way up the ranks.
Yeah, cool.
If you,
Are you okay with that, Barnaby?
Is this one of those things where like we can pull out at any time?
like the mafia?
Yes, like the mafia. Well, it's certainly not the world in which John Wick lives, right? Where you have to like assassinate someone impossible to leave. She says, "Look, you can quit. You can certainly quit. If you can't handle it, if you can't hack the pressure, we have recruits in the Grey Hands drop out all the time. It can be a demanding gig. Sometimes you go into dangerous places. You have to deal with horrors unknown. And if you shy away from something like that, if you can't handle it, absolutely, you can tender your resignation without problem."
Yeah, cool. Awesome. I mean, it sounds like a bit of a win-win here, really. I mean, you've agreed that when you trust us enough, you'll work with us to give us the Stone of Galore, provide on the condition that we use part of those funds and the reward to benefit the city. That sounds reasonable. No issues with that.
I'm happy with it.
Yeah, cool.
Yep.
Cool.
All right. Good.
It's a deal.
She just turns over some of these sheafs of paper, and she sort of slides three contracts over to you, and says, "I'm just going to need your. This is a non-magical contract. It's more just your word, and I need your names, just in case I ever have to take it, essentially, so that I have you on the books, that you're one of mine."
Mm-hmm.
I read through the contract before I sign.
Mm-hmm. It's saying it seems like free. Actually, give me a investigation check.
Skills. Investigation. 13.
Oh, damn. +8? Bro.
Let's see. Oh wait. There's a bit of the here we go. I recruit where is it? Oh jeez. It's like there's some fillable points. Square bracket. I recruit's name. I square bracket recruit's name square bracket do solemnly swear by recruit's deity of choice to uphold the laws and ordinances of the city of Waterdeep, serve the public trust, and defend the subjects of his/her, delete whichever is inappropriate, open lord of Waterdeep, without fear, favor, or thought of personal safety, to pursue goals as dictated by the Black Staff, protect the innocent, laying my life down if necessary in the cause of said duty, so help me, bracket, aforesaid deity, close bracket, God save the open lord of Waterdeep, square bracket, or /king/queen, square bracket, just delete whichever is inappropriate.
Okay,
Cool,
so we're
done.
joining a cult.
Well, welcome to every monarchy forever.
This is like, you guys wanted to slay dragons. We got bureaucracy the game going down here, son.
All right.
No, I'm okay with that.
I've
Yeah.
been a cult for a while,
Yeah. Let's just join a cult for a while. It's fine.
So you sign your name. So Barnaby, you signed it, I assume, as Barnaby the Beautiful Bard.
That's correct.
Heimdal, do you have a last name?
My middle name is Da.
It's
Is
with
the-
2 L's.
Heimdal with 2 L's.
2 L's.
And so your last name is just with 2 L's.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Very convenient.
Sprig?
D&D has got nothing to do with conveniency at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I place my hand upon the parchment, and I don't sign it. There's no ink. It's just the pigment within the paper, the wood paper, just changes color into like a weird small shape of a small flower.
Mm-hmm.
That's like my signature. It's just like a discoloration of
Lovely.
paper.
She says, she sort of claps her hands together. The staff just sort of stays there upright in the just like balanced perfectly. She says, "Excellent, thank you. Welcome to the Grey Hands. Your first mission, I would like you to keep an eye out for. There's a monk who lives in a cave on the side of Mount Waterdeep. His name is Hlam. I want you to HLAM.
I believe it is pronounced Hlam.
Hlam. I need you to go up there, ask him what he's heard about threats to the city, but also try not to annoy him or overstay your welcome.
Ooh, you might want to send someone else.
What? Yeah, that's why should we not overstay our welcome? Is he someone to be feared? Is he cantankerous?
Excellent use of the word cantankerous. Well, he can. I mean, he can be. He's a bit of a hermit. He's. I'll be honest. He's a bit of a. He can be a bit rough around the edges. You don't decide to live ostracized from society up on a hill in the middle of the greatest city in the world, away from people if you're good at social skills. I'm not sure if you've met many monks. They're usually not great in social situations.
Unless there's a pandemic.
And he's old. He's an old man, and he's a monk. It's just they get crotchety.
Okay.
Sort of like Sadade, if you've ever heard of him.
Okay. All right. So we like. All right. Is there a deadline on this project? Is there a budget we have to work with?
No real deadline. I'm sure his information will keep, though. Don't take too long, I suppose.
Yeah. Do you have a location of this cave? Can you?
Yeah, it's on the side of Mount Waterdeep.
Okay. All right. So we have we don't have to go Ganji. We can go directly there if we wanted to.
Yeah. I mean, she says. It's quite the climb.
Why would he have heard threats against the city?
Well, he's the kind of guy that we send. We go to him for advice. He's friends. He's got a lot of connections to sort of powerful figures in the city, despite him being sort of in bumfuck nowhere. A lot of people go to him for advice and talk to him about things. He's sort of the who's who of shitty old men on the side of mountains, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Cool. Okay.
What is he really like? Do you know has he got any things that get him excited? I say that with a straight face.
Yeah. He yes, he loves yak butter, like yak milk tea. I think it's like a regional thing of where he's from, perhaps.
I'm not writing that one down, Steve. That's weird for me.
Yeah. Write that down.
I've got it. I got it. Yak milk tea.
Where's yak milk tea sold typically?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a grandmaster of the way of the sacred fists.
Oh, okay.
You getting that one?
Is his name Sadade?
I only know him as Halam.
Okay.
But he is uncountably. He's human, but he's unknowably old.
Definitely Sadade.
Just like Sadade. Wow. Okay. Cool. Crossover.
I love how Sean is just logs in. Hey.
Yeah. You're gonna have to convince. Next fortnight, you're gonna have to convince Sean to give you the information.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Shall we head there?
I'm okay with it.
Because we do have a couple of.
I'm gonna go find some yak milk. Shall we?
How many?
Yak milk first?
Well,
We've
let's
only
do.
got one potion of climbing. Should we go and buy another 2 more potions of climbing?
Let's make this a skills challenge.
Ooh,
We haven't done one of these in a while.
we haven't.
So, skill challenge. We're going to roll initiative as if
Hang on
it
a
is.
second. Hang on a
Oh,
second. I want to get me some yak milk tea.
Well, that can be one of your skills, perhaps.
Oh, okay, cool.
So, for those of you who don't remember, because it's been so long, we're going to roll initiative. You're going to have to get a certain number of successes and beat a certain target. Any failures will have incredibly dire consequences. And, so you're going to make your way up this mountain and try and get the... essentially make your way up there with or get items on your way up. So Heimdal and Sprig, can you roll initiative? You can't use the same skill someone's just used, and you can't use the same skill you used last round. And cool. And Sprig,
Come on.
woof! On the initiative roll. Brilliant.
Damn it. That would have been really helpful in the skills challenge.
Okay. So you're starting to make your way up the what do you do? We got Sprig, Barnaby, then Heimdal in the initiative order here. What do Sprig? What do you do? Sort of as you describe to me what you're doing, either as you're making your way through the streets, getting ready for this climb, I imagine.
I'm limbering up my vines. So the vines that I can grow from my arms and my feet, I'm just sort of loosening them, sort of stretching and like curling, sort of, making sure they're as dexterous and nimble as possible for the climb ahead. I prep all my, I do a bit of meditation, prep my concentration, make sure I'm in the zone, ready for any trials that may face us ahead, and then I, keep an eye out. I say a few probably mishitting jokes to my friends to try and keep them in good spirits.
Excellent. Cool. All right. So what is this in terms of skills?
It's just in preparation.
Yeah. So I'm thinking maybe sort of 3. We're going to probably end up doing sort of 3 rounds. First round is prep. Second round is climbing the mountain, and so on.
Okay. All right. So in that case, then I sit down and I meditate for a bit, and I use my nature skill to commune with the local fauna. They talk to the birds that cheep and chirp around this nicer part of town that are sitting in the trees, and see if they can, see what they can tell me about the climb ahead that can make me better prepared for it. So either give me an advantage on the climb, or or advantage on should there be enemies or anything like that.
Cool. All right.
So nature.
Yeah.
Oh, shame.
You reach out to the you reach out to the birds and the bees and the flora and fauna, trying to find if there's from their point of view, if there's any good ways up the mountain, or any kind of trails or anything like that. Easier ways. But you are rebuffed by most by anything you come across in this area of the city. There isn't obviously it's quite built up, so there's not a ton of animals and things like that. But the pigeons and magpies that you do discover don't want to bar of you, and in fact you get swooped. You get hella swooped. Barnaby.
As we're walking through the streets, Barnaby notices.
Sorry, before you go, Barnaby, what does the inspiration do?
You get to roll a d20. You get to re-roll. Essentially, you can roll a d20 twice. You can cash that in.
Sprig had.
Yeah, I do. I do have initiative on one of those.
He had inspiration.
You have inspiration, yeah.
Could I use it? I know it's kind of bad to go back, but I did forget about the inspiration.
Absolutely. Alex also cashed in a bunch of points to give me inspiration on something, so I'm gonna have to use that to fuck you over in some way too.
What?
That's a little bit better. 16.
16? That is a success. So after getting swooped a bit, you're able to get some little strips of meat, and you realize that it was because they were hungry, and they weren't them when they're hungry, and you're able to sort of coax one of the birds down to kind of chat with you and be your friend. And you kind of ask it some questions, and it gives you sort of a good starting point to start off the hike.
Oh, good.
Barnaby.
Lovely. So as we're walking down through the street and in this high end of town as well, Barnaby notices an apothecary, which he goes into and says, "Hey, I don't know.
Just, hey mate, what's up? Give us some of those apoths."
But Greyhand. That's all I'm going to say. Maybe you've got a couple of extra potions of climbing for someone keeping your city safe. He's going to try to persuade this person to hand over a couple of potions of climbing to support the climb.
Yeah, sounds good.
Oh, jeez, like shit! I rested on a 2 for a second.
That is a solid 22. So persuasion. So yeah, you're able to go in there and just say, "Oh, look," you drop the name Grey Hands and say, "I'm looking for some climbing potions." You're able to get a incredibly good deal on them. I'm not going to give them give this away for free, but instead of paying the sort of what would probably be 250 gold, you're able to get away with just sort of 10 gold to get these 3 climbing potions for sure.
Bargain.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
And in fact, I'll say that you get 4 of them, so you have sort of 3 for your climb and then like a spare.
Nice.
Nice. I feel like there's a reason why we should always have a spare potion of climbing, but yeah, we'll address that later.
Heimdal?
So I am pretty intent on finding me some yak milk tea, enough for 4 of us, hopefully, and maybe even a little bit left over. Actually, my compadres probably won't actually want the yak milk tea, but we'll see. Anyway, I want to find some yak milk tea, so I use some investigation.
Okay.
Now, it could be, because I'm the last to roll, it could be on the way too, because this was apparently meant to be a regional delicacy. So preparation might be just as we're getting to the place we need to climb.
Yeah, absolutely. So while Heimdal's kind of sitting in one of the parks that are around the sort of castle ward, sitting on one of the park benches, chatting with magpies, Barnaby's headed into an apothecary. He's come out with probably a shit-eating grin on his face and some clinking bottles, and you're able to find a quality tea shop, and they it's sort of a specialty store. It's down sort of a back alleyway where you find it's not Chinatown because that's not in this world of Forgotten Realms. It's kind of Ten Towns town, and in there is sort of this sort of northern delicacies from the Great North up near the spine of the world, and you're able to get a hold of some yak milk butter that would go into the tea and kind of acts like gives that pungent yak taste, you know, that people love up there.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so after that, the 3 of you make your way to sort of the base of the mountain where Hjarbinger... are we about to lose Paul because he's turning on the microwave?
That's hard.
And I'm just fascinated by how many beeps you needed to. Like, it wasn't.
I just hit
beep.
start.
Yeah, I know it wasn't just beep beep start. That was like he thought about that. He's calculated that.
I mean, if you listened very carefully, I think you got the vault combination for the Rod of Ruin, just like. So you make your way to the base of the mountain where the birds had kind of led you, and it's sort of a steep escarpment up up Waterdeep Mountain. See if I can find sort of the name of Waterdeep Mountain. Obviously, the name of the mountain around which the city of Waterdeep is built. Not very interestingly named, but atop it, there are a couple of paths up there. I think it's sort of down. It's over here, sort of to your southwest. There's sort of the palace or the castle of Waterdeep on its fringes, but this sort of big mountain to the west of the city seems to sort of block a lot of the westerly, or is it easterly winds that come from the west?
Yeah, easterlies come from westerlies come from the west.
Okay, so it blocks like westerly winds coming off the coast, and protects the city from to a certain extent from blustering winds. But you're able to kind of make your way down there and start making your way up the mountain itself. It's not necessarily an easy climb at all. As we go to Sprig, it's your turn again.
Okay, so it's not an easy climb.
No.
Are we at the foot?
Yeah, well, yeah. You start making your way up. You sort of wherever you want to be.
All right. Can I take the potion?
Can I just jump in and ask? What's the deal with the potions? I handed them out retrospectively.
Mm-hmm.
What are they going? What do they do? Do we have an advantage or like?
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll lower the especially because you did pay a little bit of gold too. I will lower the difficulty slightly to make it a little bit easier. Let's go round 2. Okay. And so normally when drinking this potion, you gain a climbing speed equal to your walking speed for 1 hour. During this time, you have advantage on strength athletics checks you make to climb. And the potion is separated into brown silver. So I'm going to say narratively, you don't even have to sort of go up any kind of normal switchbacking path. You're able to just sort of start making your way up the side of the mountain. The paths themselves aren't great anyway, and you're able to cut out a lot of time. And I've lowered the difficulty of the skill challenge now, as you're obviously aided. Whatever you're doing, you're kind of aided by this sort of sure-footedness and ability to, almost like scale vertical walls and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Okay. So I'm going to. So it's Harbinger's turn, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So he's going to use his skill of animal handling to help him scale this ridge by calling on the ground-dwelling beings. Call on the help of any gopher, mole, wombat. Whatever the native species are to the area, to assist
the naked
him.
Mole rat. Yep.
The naked mole rat. Okay, if that's the local one, the naked mole rat. Whenever he finds himself without a handhold, they assist by coming out and providing him one as he scales the sides of this ravine.
Yep. I noticed you have animal friendship as a spell as well, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yep. Okay. Cool. Love it. That's pretty good. So yeah, you through this, you're able to use your sort of animal charming abilities, your friendship with these animals. You convince these beasts that you sort of don't mean them any harm, and they provide you, if not direct sort of handholds, then they do sort of pop out of locations and kind of draw your attention to areas that, like here's like a little cave system where you can take a little break and whatnot, and you kind of lead the way up this mountain. Barnaby. All successes so far, guys. I should have made this harder.
No, you shouldn't have. This is good. So, old mate is going to. If I use a spell in the skills challenge, do I need to burn that slot?
I'd say yes, but I'll give you, depending on the spell slot, I will either just give you a free win or like some kind of advantage for sure.
Yeah, right, okay. And if I'm using a spell, then I add the spell attack or the modifier or to the...
Depends what the spell is.
Yeah.
But also, like, if it narratively makes sense, you use the spell, yeah. I mean, I think I've been pretty generous with rests so far anyway. So I wouldn't metagame too hard on that one.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, Barnaby is going to...
Polymorph, giant ape, throw us up the mountain.
That'd be great. No, I won't tell you what I was thinking.
Wish spell. I wish I was at the top of the mountain.
So he is going to go ahead and acrobatics his way up because he can walk. He's walking vertically up, but that's too boring for the beautiful bard. He needs to add a little bit of finesse to it as well. So he's going to try to handstand his way up this fucker.
Excellent.
Overt confidence in a potion of climbing.
That's not ideal. You sort of start springing up, walking, trying to be almost like Spider-Man standing off the side of the thing. But then you realize that you've got a potion of climbing, not quite a potion of spider climbing, and you slip and fall and scrape somewhat, and Sprig and Heimdal going to have to help you before you fall too far.
Yeah, fair enough.
Cool.
Disappointing.
Heimdal.
So, noticing the slip of, the loose footage, Heimdal obviously leans on his most precious of abilities, which is Arcana.
If you create a bonfire, I swear to God.
No. I'm a conjurer, right?
Yeah.
I could try and conjure like a ladder or stairs or something.
Well, I notice you have a particular spell.
I have multiple spells, yes.
I see you have a spell called Rope Trick.
Yes.
So yeah, do you have an ability to turn your illusions real? Is that a thing that I remember you having?
Well, one is illusions, but I've got minor illusion, major illusion.
Yeah, okay. As a conjurer, you can conjure billowing clouds, summon creatures, conjuring savant. Is that it? Minor conjuration? You can conjure an inanimate object in your hand or on the ground. It can be no larger than 3 feet on a side, weigh no more than 10 pounds. Okay. I will allow you to, roll Arcana. It's going to have to be pretty good to make something bigger than 3 feet. But yeah, I'll allow that. Using your conjuration abilities, you begin with an illusion and then try and sort of manifest it to be real for at least a period of time.
That's all I need. Yep. And I do it with Arcana.
That was so close to the natty 20.
Yeah.
But a dirty 20, I feel, will do. For certain stretches that are just a little bit too hard, you've got that, Barnaby trying to do the Tom Cruise Mission Impossible 2 thing where he's hanging off flat from the thing and then falling. To get over those overhangs, you conjure sort of a rope and wooden ladder out of an illusion, and you're able to help everyone get up that way.
Yep.
Cool. All right, final round. Sprig, you're almost at the top.
Okay. We're almost at the top. We're still climbing, though, are we?
Yeah.
All right. Amidst a climb. What to do? So we had acrobatics. We had arcana. I'm going to use, having limbered up my vines earlier, I'm going to use athletics to just dig deep and get that little bit extra using the vines that grow from my cuffs and feet to get that little bit further up.
Cool. What skill is this? Sorry. Oh, natty 20. Yeah, absolutely. You describe it to me how you like.
So, have you seen that the part where the Hulk just fucking climbs like a mountain or the side of a spaceship just by like launching himself as if he's
as if he's kind of weightless.
Butterfly swimming just up the side he just does that straight up to the top.
Excellent. You just leap up and you sort of bring one of them with you, bring Barnaby with you by the scruff of the neck.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, perfect. All right, Barnaby.
Do you actually bring me with you?
Yeah.
Cool. So it's just Heimdal down there. So what I'm going to do from the top is play him a jam that he's never heard before. I'm going to perform his favorite song and give him the inspiration that he needs to finish his climb.
So that just means advantage, right? On his next roll.
No, this is just part of the thing. So can you give me that is an excellent performance check. Can you give me a taste? Can you give me that like of what that kind of music sounds like?
Yeah, Heimdal, what genre are you into, man? What kind of bands do you like?
I'm probably into
Eye of the Tiger. It's got to be Eye of the Tiger as he's climbing the side.
You're into techno, did you say?
I'm into techno. Yeah.
He's into techno. All right. So I'll pull out a classic, a bit of a bit of Sandstorm, dude.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm just ripping that on the lute.
Excellent. And you feel jazzed, super jazzed, Heimdal, as you're sort of you're making and climbing these kind of rope ladders that you're putting together. And someone in chat has just issued you with inspiration, Heimdal, if you'd like to use it on your final roll of this skill challenge.
Yeah, boy.
Thank you very much to Jäger Oblasen. Must be also a huge Sandstorm fan.
Wait, where's that coming from? I didn't see that.
It's in the Twitch chat.
Oh, in the Twitch chat. Hey, nice.
Okay, so thank you very much for that. Wait a second.
Double crit fails, let's go.
So that means I get to roll twice, and
yeah, you still need to tell me what you're doing though.
Oh well, you know what? I'm a very learned scribing gnome, so I'm going to use my perception to trace my path on the way up, and then hopefully just kind of like take my time.
Excellent.
So perception. Perception.
Oh, so glad you have that inspiration, dude.
Yeah,
that's a natty one. Jesus. By the son of Lathander. Oh.
Can I do a little bit something different? Can I change it?
Ooh, can he?
Yeah, I mean, you can re-roll with the inspiration. What do you want to? What do you want to change it to? So you look up there, and it's like the sunlight, the fog cloud, like it's all getting in your eyes. You can barely, some dirt from Spriggs launching himself up there with Barnaby. You're getting that grit in your eye. You can barely see. Sure, you can try something else, perhaps.
Okay, cool. Can I just use my teleportation and just like fucking pop up there?
Yeah. All right, I'll let you burn the inspiration, but also you got to burn the spell.
Yeah, that's fine. So I have something called benign transposition.
Yep.
I'm just trying to find it.
Benign transposition, so you can teleport to up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space you can see. Alternatively, you can swap with someone.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to do that. Unless there's one of those gophers that brought.
Sure, yeah. You're one of the little naked mole rats.
Yeah.
So can I just describe something that I'm picturing?
Yeah.
Is that Barnaby, trips and falls, but Hjarbinger grabs him and throws him up, only for Heimdal to switch places with him, and Barnaby end up back down the bottom.
I mean, that would be what we call a dick move, but
Yeah. It has to be a willing creature to swap with.
Is Barnaby willing?
I
don't think so.
I'm sorry, I can't. I'd love to, because that would be very funny.
Yeah, you're able to sort of teleport up there. You displace a mountain goat that Sprig's been having a conversation with up near the sort of entrance mouth to the cave.
And I appear with like an elbow on a knee and like bent over hand underneath my chin, smiling, flapping my eyelids.
Absolutely.
You know the image of like a pretty girl like lost in their eyes. Yep.
You look directly into the somewhat ruffled Barnaby, who is obviously sort of dragged up the mountain here.
Do you get up and just start raving?
Yeah.
Excellent. Inside you see, inside you sort of make your way into the cave. You do feel a little bit tired though, thanks to Barnaby's incredible failure. Let me just roll on my table here. 1D. I want each of you to give me a Constitution saving throw.
Really? We got one fail and we're already tied?
Yeah.
All right.
Saving throw, con save.
Bad. I'm really tired.
Yay!
Sprig's fine. He feels fine. Heimdal?
Yeah, the dice was over my thing, so.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this actually makes a lot of sense because it's just Barnaby who feels feels very tired. You get one. Wait, what did I roll? 1d4. Where is it? You get one level of exhaustion, Barnaby.
Exhaustion. How long does that last for?
Until you take a long rest. Then you lose one level of exhaustion.
That's not too bad.
I have a disadvantage on ability checks. That could be bad.
So that's the thing that happens to Gronk whenever he frenzies. He gets a level of exhaustion.
Oh, wow, so he could just die?
Yeah, if you get 5 levels of exhaustion, you just die.
6.
Oh, 6, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But I think I've ruled, I'm not sure if this is the actual rules, but I've ruled that like while he's raging, he's not under the effects of exhaustion, but it all like catches up to him as soon as the rage ends.
Yeah, right.
So theoretically, he could hit level 6,
drop dead,
and he'll drop dead as soon as his rage ends, right? Like,
he just needs to constantly be angry.
Yeah, it's like that. You don't want to let your friend go to sleep, kind of thing. Concussion. So you make your way in. You see this sort of little wizened old man. Let me see if I can find a voice for this guy.
Ooh. I pass the yak butter to Barnaby.
Drink it. How many did you get? Did you get 4?
I just got yak butter, which can be made into into tea. And if you're exhausted, I feel like it might help.
That's a good point.
But don't we want to give it to the old man? Doesn't the old man love his yak tea?
Yeah. So we get the yak butter, see the old man, and I hand it to him with 2 hands and say, "Could I make us some tea and talk?"
He says, "I'm very old." It has been a while since I've had visitors. It's been like a day or so. Please, young whippersnapper, make us tea.
Wonderful.
And I'd like you to make a performance check for me, please, here, Barnaby.
Do I have disadvantage?
With disadvantage.
Well,
Because obviously making tea is an elaborate affair, as I'm sure you know.
all right. Second roll.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, 23.
It's not
It's
that
good tea.
difficult to make tea.
Yeah. I mean, but Barnaby, I feel like, Paul says it's not difficult to make tea, but I'm sure Barnaby
He's never
knows
made
the
tea in his life.
ancient tea rituals of Wonderland, right? Like
Exactly.
that you've got to pour it, and then like you wipe the thing, and then like you got to put the dob of yak butter in, and you've got to you put the dob of yak butter in the little tea catcher first, and then you pour the tea over that, and it's like a whole thing.
But only a couple of mils at a time. It needs to completely express out into the It's very complicated yak tea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you bow, and then you like offer the tea to Halan, and he sort of, despite his old age, there's no shake to his hand whatsoever, and he says, "Please sit. What brings you to my extravagant quarters here overlooking the city?"
Vasha and the Grey Hand. She sent us here to ask of you if you have any news or word of threats against the city.
He sort of closes his eyes, sips the tea. Give me a persuasion check.
Oh
With
no!
I'll give you advantage because you've got this yak butter tea, so it'll balance it out. Balance out the exhaustion. Like your hands are shaking. Oh. Let's see how impressed old Halan is. What's his? Okay. Halan says, "Your grey hands, they're getting younger and younger every day, just like Vajra herself, recruiting children."
Oh no, guys! I don't think I impressed him.
He says, "What news do you have of the city? Tell an old man your stories."
Someone else jump in.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Do you mind if we call it here? Well, at least for Harbinger.
Sure. Yeah, we can call it there.
Okay.
We'll...
Yeah. Sorry. So no, you guys can keep going. I've just gotta shoot.
No, that's right. It's 10 to 10, so it's pretty late.
Yeah.
We'll leave it there as we sit atop the mountain. Barnaby, having knocked over one of the teacups, or having perhaps asked a question out of turn. We'll never know what small sleight he performed. That just wasn't up to mustard because he's just tired. He's had a long day,
He's a tired boy.
He's a very tired boy. But here's a wizened old creature, and look, I'm actually going to message Sean and ask what an old man would do in this scenario. So, you better hope that his team wins in the Origin tonight, or else he might be in a bad mood.
That's it. Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you so much. That was great, Dan.
That was a good night. I enjoyed that one.
Cool.
Thank you, John.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Good night,
boys.
boys. I'll catch you soon.
I'll say the good nighties to everyone else as well, and call it there.
Goodbye.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Twitch. Bye.
Are you still with us? It's just us now. Just you, me, and what have we got here? Hey, here I am. Thank you very much for everyone who joined us for the Waterdeep Dragon Heist. It's a high, heavy role-playing session tonight. They had a little bit of a fight with some thugs, but easily subdued them. And it looks like now they're making friends with the Blackstaff and are potentially they've joined the Grey Hands. We'll see what happens after this. Of course, this Waterdeep Dragon Heist adventure is a little bit different to the rules, to the as-written one, as my players are going in as level 8, having stopped Caloril the Vile in the Keep in the Shadowfell. They've done Thunderspire Labyrinth and so on and so on. I want to thank the Jaeger O'Blarson, or Jaeger 8 Larson, for giving inspiration to Heimdal in the end there, letting him kind of re-roll his skill. He definitely needed it in the moment. Huge shout out to Evildoer TV as well, who raided the channel earlier tonight. And of course, a bunch of people who followed us tonight. Thank you very much for that. You are incredibly valued. We did get a couple of cheeky, I think we got a couple of cheeky donos or a sub that kind of pushed that DM bar as well. Once that finally fills up, we're going to roll on a table. Maybe there'll be a wandering monster. Maybe there'll be a friend or an ally who'll join them. Maybe something bad, something good will happen. Who knows? We'll have to figure it out. We'll figure it out together. And I might touch on that a little bit this weekend for a DM prep kind of session. For now, though, I think we're probably going to call it a night. I'm going to see if anyone else cool who I know and love is playing D&D right now. There's a couple of other really cool D&D creators. Obviously, Evildoer, who rated me before. Highly recommend them. I assume they went to bed and had a good sesh as well. And just seeing who else we got here. Oh, look, Tabletop Nights seem to be running a Curse of Strahd. And they're only in session 2, so this could be a really cool time to join in on that. Tabletop. The Tabletop Nights. Okay. So please join me in a little bit of a cheeky raid on them as we say hello and good night. I've been your DM. I'll be back tomorrow night for our Lost Mine of Phandelver campaign that's about to sort of wrap up that first arc. So please join me tomorrow night, 7:30 Oz Eastern. And as always, you've been amazing. Thank you very much. Oh, you coming with me? We got so many of us coming in. This is why you're the cool people. Jaeger, means hunter in Norwegian. It's a mill term. I assume that's like Jaeger, like the giant robots, right? And shout out to Dill there, who's also in the Tats team. Jaeger. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing it correct when I say Jaeger, assuming that the J is kind of a Y sound. I got a mate who's Yulia with the same kind of thing. But I hope you enjoyed hanging out with us, mate. And shout out. Hello to you from Melbourne, Australia. You've caught us at the end of the night. It is 10 p.m. But shout out from the other side of the world. I hope you're having a great Wednesday. I'm going to hit that button now. Let's go on in. Thank you very much, guys. Have a good night. Welcome